it was still part of why I love my job, if that makes sense. I think they're
Isn't
two
that why
different.
you went to school to learn,
Yeah,
to
to
make
learn how
people
to do this.
better,
Yeah.
maybe even save a life?
Yeah. So absolutely. But Dan, yeah, no, when we interview, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, I just want to have fun.
Oh, we
I think
did.
people expect to work hard. I think hopefully, I think creating a good work environment that doesn't feel toxic, that feels open and like people can ask questions, I think is really important. But yeah, fun is different. And there are definitely different kinds of fun, maybe is the best way to put it.
Or one, yeah, sometimes it's funny that you got a 4-year-old and you go palpate his abdomen and they start giggling and laughing, and you can't, the laughter is contagious, and you got to tickle them under the armpits, and
Yeah.
and that part is fun. But my expectation is that it's work. I'm gonna have to tell some people some bad news. I'm gonna have to tell
Yeah.
other people, no, I'm not writing antibiotics for your cold, or your kid gained 20 pounds from last year. That we're not okay with that.
Yeah.
And none of that is fun. And people, as one would expect, react like, you're calling my kid ugly. No, I'm not calling your kid ugly. I'm just pointing out that we can't gain 20 pounds a year because we're going to get into some real trouble. So we got to talk about it. So I was just curious whether you're seeing the younger doctors, as it seems that the work ethic is
Yeah, that was a
more
question.
than.
What are your thoughts on work ethic these days?
I will say I guess I'm very lucky, and I feel like I should find some wood in this room that I'm in to knock on. I have not had any issues with work ethic with my colleagues. I really haven't. I feel like people generally step up. So I am very lucky. I think that's not 100% of the time, but I think in general, we relatively recently, within the last year, had a situation where a colleague's parent passed away unexpectedly. And you better believe everyone's lighting up like, I'll help, I'll do this shift, I'll do this call. Oh my gosh, can I help? It was like we get to figure out who amongst all of us that wanted to help. It was a good problem to have.
Yes.
And I feel like in general, that has been sort of the way it's been with our practice. So I think I'm very lucky in that way. I think occasionally with staff and other folks within the practice, occasionally that's been an issue in the past. But honestly, we've got, again, I feel like I'm jinxing all of us right now. We have a really good sort of team in place across the board right now. Everyone's getting along. Everyone's working well together. There doesn't seem to be a lot of drama. This is fabulous. Let's keep it that way. But it's been really good. So
And so
I'm lucky.
who does the hiring? Do you do the hiring, or? And I know.
Yeah, so there are 5 partners. I think it depends who we're hiring. So for doctors, for physicians, it's the partners. We interview, certainly our practice manager is often in as part of that as well, but it's the doctors for the doctors. We have a really great nurse manager who we love very much. And in terms of nurse hiring, it's typically her with the practice manager, and usually one of the partners. Typically we have one partner who takes a little bit of a managing partner lead in terms of admin kind of stuff. So she will often weigh in with that stuff as well. And then office staff, we have the office manager typically manages that. So it depends who we're hiring.
Is there a question that you like to ask when you're interviewing other fellow pediatricians? Is there some particular question, or just kind of how it just flows during the interview?
I'm more of a flow person. I feel like that's why we try not to overwhelm people and have all 5 of us go to an interview lunch, because that feels like that's not going to be a good vibe for folks, but 2 or 3 of us. And I feel like there's a couple of my colleagues that tend to have set questions or questions in their minds that they want answers to. And I'm more about having a conversation, listening to the person talk, and then vibing off of whatever they're saying, I think is more my style. But that's why there's usually at least 2 of us, because we all have slightly different styles. So we end up getting some solid information along with just personality vibe checks. Because I think you want the person to be qualified. You want them to have good recommendations. You want to feel like, they know what they're doing. But you also want to feel like they're going to fit into the culture of the practice. So I think that's really important too.